Hey Peepsy Doodles. So I have this light here that I'm kind of trying to make everything a little bit brighter. My videos are always so dark, but it's dark outside right now. It's actually storming. I'm so freaking excited. It's also like 6:45 in the morning, but still excited. I love thunderstorms. I actually put outside, maybe I'll show you guys once this video's over. I put outside some jars for rainwater, and one of them filled up like in a matter of minutes. And so I put the cap on it, and I have that sitting outside with my big citrine point and my spirit quartz crystal, so that they all absorb that amazing storm, first thunderstorm of 2015 and of spring energy. And I actually have a whole bunch up there that are labeled of stormwater and when they were taken. And I have them from like every year of the last couple of years. So pretty excited about that. But anyway, this light actually isn't too bad. Hi! So I wanted to... Hey, miss. She's eating. Speaking of cats, I actually wanted to do a video today to talk to you guys about familiars. And I know that in the past, since I was watching some of my old videos last night, I talked to you guys about totem animals, and I've touched on familiars here and there, but today I wanted to do a video devoted to familiars and to talking to you guys about whether or not you have a familiar and how to tell and how to bring one into your life. So to kind of reverse my totem video, totem animals are for the most part in the spiritual sense. They're an animal that, while you can have a cat as a totem animal, normally totems are animals like one of my totems is the barn owl. Are animals that you do not see in everyday life. They're not something that is physically, unless you have a barn owl that lives with you, that you see very often. So like when I go out to check my mail, actually twice this past year I've seen owls that have swooped over either when I was getting mail or like over my car. And so that's my totem animal that is communicating with me in some way. Some people have a shark, some people have a fucking unicorn. I mean, they're just normally in the spiritual sense. Familiars, on the other hand, woo, are in the physical sense. Familiars normally take place as pets. And the thing is you can't, this is all what I've gathered and what I have experienced and what I have found over the years. You can't just buy an animal and expect it to be your familiar. For the most part, the familiars choose you. Hey, yeah, lovely. Now you'll notice in almost all of my videos, my little Pyperh kitty here makes an appearance. She is my familiar. I have 4 animals. I have Pyperh, I have Patches, which is my other cat. Patches! Psst, psst, psst. He's like, fuck all that noise. I have Norbert, who is out there, Norby, he's my bearded dragon. And I have my super large guinea pig, who is going to be 6 this year. And she is, that's Steven. So when we're talking about familiars, out of all of those animals, and of all the animals that I've had, I've only had 2 familiars. I've had a hamster named Shadow, and she actually was my familiar, and I have Pyperh. Now, you'll know that a familiar is your familiar, or a pet is your familiar, because one of the biggest things that you'll notice is anytime you are doing any kind of magical work, whether it even be meditation, casting circle, casting sacred space, you know, getting out your witchy stuff, sometimes even reading a witchy book, I've noticed, she is here. So your animal loves that kind of energy and will just come to it like frickin' a fly on... we won't use that. Like me to ice cream. There we go. Patches, while he's laying here, and I don't know, I think you can see him chilling right here. He could not give a shit less if I'm doing a video, if I'm doing spell work, if I'm, like, he does not care. At night, he looks for a lap to sit on, and he's so chill, but that's about it. Sometimes I'll come in here and I'll sit down and I notice that he's hiding under my altar and he'll take off. But I mean, he's not one that's really, there's a huge difference between Pyper's interaction with everything I do and Patch's. Another thing that is a big indicator is your pet is, or your familiar, your pet that you suspect to be your familiar, is extremely connected to you. Some people are actually psychically connected to their familiar, but your familiar is they're very connected to their witch. And so a lot of people can't believe how connected Pyperh is to me, and how I can call her from any place in the house and she comes running, how her and I can actually play hide and seek together, how she just snuggles up on me, and she's got to have her mama fix. So if mama's not home and Kevin can't believe that I will be at work or I'll be somewhere, and Pyperh will just go and lay down and be quiet, and he really won't hear from her. And then as soon as I come home, she comes out. Or as soon as I walk in the door, she's already waiting for me at the bottom of the stairs. Her and I have a very unique relationship. Excuse you. We talk to each other all the time. And I really feel like she responds. And that may sound like a crazy cat lady thing, but I'm a witch. What can I say? No, like, I can actually talk to her, and she will respond back in little meows, and I don't know what I would do without her on days that I'm home and Kevin's not here. Like, she is an extremely, extremely amazing companion. But yeah, I mean, literally any time I come to sit down at this altar, this cat is in here. Sometimes she's on my lap, sometimes she sits next to me, sometimes she lays right here, sometimes she is on the altar. There are more times than once that I have found shit knocked over, like, case in point, knocked over because Pyperh has to get on the altar for one reason or another. There's 1,000 windows in this house, but she's got to look out this one, of course. So, hi, Kitty. Did you say hi to all the people? She's like, Mom, I'm real busy. See? Hi, Pyperh Kitty. Hi, Pyperh Kitty. She's not having it. So yeah, and another a big thing with familiars is a lot of times they come into your life by chance, by coincidence, which we don't really believe in. And so, like, for example, I actually went to the shelter to rescue a kitten. I went into the kitten room, and this one kitten stood out, and, I'd call it, and it would come and jump into my arms, and it was like the cutest kitty, little black kitty ever, and I wanted it, because I always told Kevin, I said, I want a little black girl kitten. I'm going to name her Pyperh, and I want her to be my kitty, to where she loves me and nobody else, and just that type of thing. And so we go, and I'm like, oh my god, this cat's perfect. We go to fill out the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. They call our apartments, and they're like, you cannot have cats. And I'm like, fuck. So we didn't get to get that cat, and I was devastated. But, in the meantime, our best friend, the guy that was Kevin's best man in our wedding, Jordan, we absolutely adore him, and his cat was having kittens, and his cat is a little black girl cat, and so he's like, you guys are more than welcome to have first pick of whatever she has. It's probably going to be a small litter because she's never had kittens before. We're like, oh my god, absolutely, we were so excited. So lo and behold, she gives birth, and what does she have? A little black girl kitten who ended up coming into our life and was given to us. We had no idea that it was going to turn out that way, but we ended up getting her, and her and I have been hooked on each other ever since. And so I really do feel like familiars come into your life the way that they're supposed to, and by chance. Case in point, kitty on the altar. I'm not saying, you knock anything over, young lady, we're going to have problems. Got it? She's like, okay, I'll sit. I'm sorry. You're right. Jesus. So, I'm not saying that it's not possible to go out and just get an animal and have it come home and it end up being your familiar, because that is very possible. I'm just saying, normally when you pick out an animal that ends up being your familiar. There's a reason that you picked that animal. They called to you. There was just something about them. You couldn't really put your finger on it. And they come home, and it was meant to be the whole time. Now, one of the things that I said the other day on a comment, somebody left, they asked, what do you mean by familiar? And I told them what my opinion of a familiar was. And they said, well, what do you mean that they help or they aid in magical workings? No, I'm not saying that Pyperh will sit here and, add in herbs to my spells with me. They don't physically, normally, help you. And by help, sometimes it means that they grab the herb jar or they knock things over or whatever. But I mean that they are there to lend their energies and lend their companionship when you're doing spell work. So when I'm sitting here doing a spell and Pyperh's sitting right next to me, it's kind of like there's two witches that are working on a spell as opposed to just one. Because the fact that she's sitting there means I believe that she is helping with whatever I'm doing. She knows. The fact that she's here in Patches isn't, she knows exactly what I'm doing. She can sense the energy and she can sense the magic in the air. So she comes to, not only out of her own curiosity, but to aid in lending her energies to whatever spell work I'm doing. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about familiars. I ended up talking, of course, as always, a little bit longer than I wanted to. But I just, this morning Kevin went to work. I don't have to work today or Monday. I'm so fucking excited. I can't even stand it. And so I'm like, I was laying in bed because I normally lay in bed for a little bit awake after he leaves. And I'm like, I'm going to get up. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go and maybe start cleaning up some stuff and maybe smudge the house. There's been some really nasty energies in this house lately. And I think it's just been from stress. But hubby and I have just not really been, it's not really even that we've been fighting. We've just been really distant. And so I kind of want to clean up and vacuum and light candles everywhere and maybe do a nice spell or a nice smudge of the house. Maybe do, another amazing shower sacred space like I did the other day. If you guys didn't see it, I posted on Facebook about it. I actually took a shower. Sorry, my nose is just driving me nuts. I took a shower. I brought in a whole bunch of candles, each for specific reasons. I brought in crystals. I brought in incense. I shut all the lights out. I turned on Lorena McKennitt, her Mummers Dance. That is the most amazing witchy song I've ever heard in my life. And I put it on and put it on repeat and just danced in the shower and drew pentacles and pentagrams and Reiki symbols and just let the energy flow. And it was so magical and so amazing. And I literally cast sacred space in my bathroom. So it was just so awesome. And let me show you guys this too. So two of the candles that I lit, one of them was purple for magic, and the other one was pink for self-love, and I also had a spirit quartz around for the purple candle and a rose quartz around for the pink candle. And both of these were the same size when I started them. Purple candle, pink candle. So when you use candles in magic, the one that is needed more, that works harder, will burn down faster than the other one. These were the exact same candles. They were from the same kit, and yeah. So, and what's funny is I have burned them in the past, and they always burned at the same level on my altar. And it must have been something about the energy that was raised the other day. It was awesome. So, I'm going to go, and I'm going to show you guys really quick outside what I got going on out there. Oh, two other things, too. As far as familiars go, I actually keep little tokens from my familiar Pyperh on my altar. These are two whiskers that she left, and so I kind of keep them on here. Look at this kitty. That is Pyperh kitty. Hey. Bet you $1 million fucking dollars that there's birds out there. Pyperh kitty, is there birds outside?
I think there is. I can't see because I don't have my glasses on, but Pyperh kitty. Look at that. Owl kitty. So I'm going to show you guys what I got going on outside. Hold on. Okay, holy cow. Get the hair out of the freaking camera. So that's what I got going on outside right there. I've got stormwater. Whoop. I've got stormwater here. I have my camera backwards so I can't point. And that's the one that was full. And then I have the crystal sitting around it. And then on the floor down there, I have another jug. I don't really know how much I ended up getting in it. Yeah, not much because it had a weird opening. But anyway, so that's what I got going on outside. I'll go and collect that later because I hear another thunderstorm rolling in. So super excited. Hope you guys have a great day. And I'm sure I will check in throughout the day. My plan is to actually go out and get some supplies for dream pillows and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to do a little something on those later. So see you guys later. Bye.